Welcome to Creepin' It Real. I am Judah. Over here is...
No.
Over here is...
Hi, I'm Jake.
And behind the camera is my emotional support tech, Gabe. Whoop, whoop.
Meow.
For the first time, we are doing a straight out of the cinema review of A Quiet Place, Day 1. Gabe, show us that trailer.
Hey, that wasn't in the movie.
No, that was from the first movie. What's his name? Ted Krasinski?
No, John Krasinski.
John.
Yeah. Did you know that's his real wife?
Yeah, I am aware of that.
Oh.
Emily Blunt. I, at one time, thought she was attractive. I no longer do.
Now, who is that?
That is Colin from 28 Days Later.
Thank you. That's it. I knew I recognized him.
And this chick was in the movie Us.
That's correct. Independence Day 2. That's not what she, what she was saying.
No, Cloverfield.
Oh, yeah. You know, I never watched those.
You never even saw the first one?
Never saw it.
Dude.
I saw when people said it was aliens or something like that, and I was like, I'm not interested.
I love 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Really?
Oh,
Does that got John Goodman in it?
It does. I thought that was a fantastic movie.
Okay, now be quiet. Nope, she's doing whiteface.
Let me suffocate you.
Transformers.
Yeah, that's exactly what that sounds like.
Optimus. Woo!
Okay. It's
Thank
June.
you.
We just saw it.
Yep,
We're back.
did. Hey,
Here we are. Jacob.
Still have popcorn in my teeth.
I can still smell it in your breath.
All right, great. Yeah, okay.
You did not see
1 or 2.
1 or 2.
Yeah.
So you coming in,
Mm-hmm.
tell me, how did this play off as a one-off
Standalone?
movie? Yes.
Very generic.
Really?
Yeah, I thought it was just generic. It was very like without seeing those other movies, like I just knew kind of what was going to happen.
Okay.
There were some times where I was like guessing something. I was like,
Mhm.
oh, he's going to come through this moment, where it didn't happen. But I think that was almost like a ploy because you were expecting it to
Mhm.
happen. I've seen a lot of movies, a lot of horror movies. This was very generic to me. Very generic.
Okay, this is exciting because I hate you and you can burn in hell.
Goodbye.
I would
I've
give
been
this.
Jake.
I would give this a 7, which is not like an amazing movie,
Yeah.
but I don't think it didn't waste my time.
Okay.
Now, I'm not gonna lie. This pulled a lot on some emotional strings for me. My
Okay.
dad died of cancer.
Mm-hmm.
This touches heavily.
So do you think that weighs on your grade?
It
Your
hit,
score?
if I'm grading this as a horror movie,
Yeah.
it's gonna get like a 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I appreciated it for more.
Well, and look, let's be honest here. It wasn't just a horror movie. It was kind of, I joked moving out of the theaters, the feel-good movie of the year.
Yeah.
But, I mean, let's be real. It had quite a bit of the ending of a typical feel-good movie.
yeah.
Like,
yeah.
it was like, oh, everything
If
worked
all
out.
feel-good movie, spoiler alert, if all feel-good movies end with the main protagonist sacrificing their life, yeah.
I don't know. She didn't sacrifice her life. Time out. We're going to time out here. She did not sacrifice her life.
Dude, she freaking turned on the radio at the end. What do you think jumped behind her?
I know, but that wasn't sacrificing. Who was she sacrificing for?
Well, she stayed behind to save her cat, okay?
Yeah.
They sent the white dude off with the cat.
Yeah.
White men cannot be trusted with cats, I'm just saying. And then she was like, I'm going to die of cancer anyway. Okay, so
As
I
you
guess
notice, Pudge is not here today. We grilled him up.
she was just like, I'm going to die anyway. And so she's like, I'm taking my life.
that was sacrificial. I agree, but she did not die doing that. She died playing a radio in the middle of Harlem.
We all knew and that they didn't like the music choice. They came out and killed her for it. No. She knew
got
what was
shit
going to
taste in
happen.
music.
Exactly. She knew what was going to happen.
I know. Well, at the same time, don't you think that's more of an S word, an SU word? We can't say it
I
here
don't know.
on the video.
I don't know.
I'm just. I'm just being the devil's advocate here.
It's fine. No, I did know. I was like, a lot of people, okay, cancer has touched the lives of a lot of people.
Yeah.
But if it hasn't impacted your life, then it's kind of just like, you just know that cancer is bad.
Right.
But when you live and walk through that process with
And
somebody,
I have.
and I was more so talking
Oh,
to
sure.
our audience, not so
Not
much you.
not as close as you have. It's been another generation.
Gotcha. Your
You know.
grandpa.
Grandpa, grandma,
Okay.
other grandma. Yeah, essentially all grandparents.
It just seeing her dealing with the medication, and they tried to show that she was thin, and dude, it got me. Like
Yeah.
even thinking about it, the memories of my dad, it's not good. So yeah, it definitely got me there.
Sorry, man.
So yeah, a bump definitely for that. I thought
Yeah.
it emotionally got me. As far as a horror movie goes, it was generic.
Yeah, it was very generic. Yeah, so I guess in saying that as a whole, I can see where you're coming from. For me, I didn't have that connection, so without having that connection, it was just like, okay.
I can see
you
that.
know. I was more worried about the cat than anything else.
I know they throw that cat in there to just freak you out, to make you be worried for the cat.
Yeah, I think the whole time, man.
But at the same time, I did feel my apologies. Did I cut you off?
Please,
Okay,
no.
I felt like it wasn't so much. It was a monster horror movie,
Yeah.
but I felt they leaned more into like apocalyptic horror.
That, and I feel like I kept thinking in my head, this is such a cliche thing, what it's like to be human, and
Yes.
and they really take away your humanism. Is
Okay.
that
Humanity?
humanity? I guess humanity. When you lose communication with people,
Mhm.
like your ability to, it's almost like probably how, and I hate to say this, but probably how a lot of Jewish people felt during the Holocaust is they felt less than human, and when you take away the ability to communicate freely with those around you, I feel that to me is horror.
Yeah.
And I know that people deal with that every day, going deaf or mute or whatever it is, or being paralyzed. So that to me is horror. I've had a lot of horror and a lot of nightmares where I lose my voice, or where like no one around me understands me. That to me is horror. So in that aspect, that's a lot of where that horror came from for me. I wasn't scared of the monsters.
Oh no, not at
I
all.
wasn't scared of them tearing anyone up.
No.
To me, it was like I was putting myself in that situation.
Oh, yeah.
Where you can't talk, you can't be a human. You know what I mean?
The parents that were separated from their children, the horror of not knowing where your kids were at.
Oh, that's a nightmare. Well, and you see the lady, because in the trailer it shows her screaming, "Help me, help me." And in the movie, it's actually she's screaming, "Jonathan, Jonathan, where are you?" In my thought, I'm going, okay, if it's another adult, she wouldn't be screaming for it with all these people being...
Yeah.
It's got to be a kid. And to me, I go, oh my God, dude. I think about it. Like Jess and I have had nightmares where we've gone to walk to a 7-Eleven and left the kids at our house as a nightmare.
Yeah.
And when we get back, they're crying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So in that aspect, there's a lot of horror elements in it in just day-to-day life.
Yes. I felt that they added more to, like, they touched on several aspects of horror. Like there was the claustrophobicness of that car slowly, crushing
or possibly crushing
Dude,
her.
I was feeling myself like, oh my gosh,
heaviness, yeah.
And then there was like the horror of drowning, of not being able to breathe.
There was a lot of anxiety.
Yes, I felt they did well with that. The aliens were just kind of like,
they were very secondary.
it's like they facilitated the other forms of
supplemental.
horror.
They were supplemental to
exactly.
what was actually going on. Yeah.
Now for me, I did see the first two. Now the first Quiet Place, and I know a lot of people experience this. I went just kind of being like, well, this is going to be interesting.
It's new. It's something new. Yeah.
I enjoyed it, and I remember like holding my breath in the movie, being so engrossed, being like, gotta be quiet, gotta be, and some dude eating popcorn and me being like, you MFers, shut up, we're gonna die. But when I got out of that, I called my dad and my stepmom, and I said, hey, I bought you 2 tickets. I want you to go see this movie. That's how much I enjoyed the first one.
Yeah.
But also, I felt it was so original, and I enjoyed it so much when I heard they were making a second one. I was like, John, don't do it. Don't do it. You had a winner. Don't ruin this by making a second movie.
Or a
John
trilogy.
Krasinski. Yeah. And I was opposed to it.
Mhm.
I watched the second one. It was not as great as the first, but I was like,
Okay.
I was like, dude, he
He
pulled it
disappoint
off.
you.
Yeah, it was okay. And then a third one, and I'm like, oh, and a prequel. I'm like, this is gonna be so lame. I have no interest.
So comparing it to 1 and 2, is it a totally different movie? Besides
no,
the aliens.
I think they pulled it off. For me personally,
Mhm.
I would say this was a solid trilogy.
Okay. And hopefully they don't make a fourth, because then you'll bomb.
I think they're making you internet tell me, are they making a TV show? I
Oh,
thought
stop it.
I thought I could be wrong.
Oh my gosh, that went really well for Resident Evil
Yeah, it did.
and all the movies.
But
Lord.
for me, I would not say you 100% have to see this at the cinema.
Mhm.
I did
Yeah.
not feel like I wasted Jake's money by seeing it because he paid for it.
He was my date.
And I didn't feel like I wasted my time. There are movies I have gone to and I was like, I wasted my money and I wasted my time. I didn't
No.
walk away feeling that way. But at the same time, at
No.
the same time, I would not be like, you have to run out and see this movie like
Right
I did
now.
with the first one.
Well, I will say this too. For a plus for the movie, I didn't fall asleep.
I was surprised he didn't.
And I mean, it was quiet 90% of the movie, which has to be super good. You know, I was thinking the whole time, I'm like, man, this is such a cakewalk for the sound techs and all this
Mhm.
stuff. But in actuality, it was probably the hardest for them
Mm.
to really portray this stuff with minimal working material.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, I went into the movie. I mean, like, I was ready to have my pajamas and slippers on. I'm like, dude, I'm taking a nap. I'm out. Here's my blanket. I'm done. Didn't fall asleep once.
Which is funny for anybody that has watched our streams. You know that Jake is like nodding off
I've got 5 children
a lot.
with a 6 on the way.
I'm not blaming.
No,
I'm
I'm just
trying to
letting them
shame.
know the. I'm giving them some
Gotcha.
prequel here.
So I assumed that he would probably fall asleep, and then when we're sitting in the chairs and I
and
push
shut
the
up.
button and I lift up the I lift up the legs,
That's a
and
nice theater.
Jacob's like, "What magic is this?" He's
Yeah.
like, "What the f?"
So
And
this movie theater has recliners in it, which holy crap!
So as soon as I was like, oh, he didn't know about the recliner. I was like, he's gone.
crap.
He's gone. He's really he's taking it back and he's asleep the rest of the
Vacation, baby.
movie. But he didn't. He didn't. He did a. Now this third movie was not directed by John Krasinski. It
No.
was actually directed by Michael Sarnowski.
Now, was he involved in it in all? I mean, I didn't see that.
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know if he was like an executive producer or anything. I
Yeah.
have no idea.
I guess that's the one thing we didn't stay and watch.
no. We
was-
ditched out right at
because
credits.
there's not going to be an after credits scene or
No.
anything like that, you know. So, okay, let's end this here.
Yeah.
Let's say overall score.
I'm sticking with the 7, but you
Okay.
don't necessarily have to see it at the cinema.
Okay, I'm right there in the middle, like 4 to 4.5.
Wow, that's low.
Well,
I would skip that
here's
kind of
the,
crap.
well, in my opinion, it was very generic,
Mm.
and I didn't have that connection.
You're right.
And sitting down, I was able to at least follow it and go,
Mm-hmm.
okay, you know. But I was like, I could have not watched it and been
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So
if you take the average, then we're coming up with a 5 here, which is just a solid mid
Meh.
movie that is past that you don't need to see it
no,
if you're taking the average.
now if you were involved with the first 2 movies, if you watched those 2 and you were fans, and yeah, absolutely go watch it. I think it's a solid prequel.
Mm-hmm.
Not watching those movies, I went, okay, at least it was watchable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've seen prequels where I haven't seen the other movies, and I've been like, dude, I don't want to even. I'm not interested. I could go, okay, you know what? I'm still like, well, maybe I'll watch the first one if it's, you know, streaming somewhere.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So, hey,
Okay.
we've been Creepin' Real. I'm Jake.
I am Judah.
We'll see you next time.
Gabe's over there.
Oh,
Shut
yeah.
up, Gabe.
Yeah, Gabe. Bye.